welcome to our fabulous FRI-YAY. Some people call it Black Friday. I called it Leftover Day because, of course, yesterday was Thanksgiving and we got a lot of leftovers. So I guess you're making those turkey sandwiches with the stuffing and the gravy and the cranberry sauce. I will say, I have never put all of those things together in a sandwich, but of course, people do. And I mean, it sounds tasty. I don't know. When I look at it, I'm like, I don't know. Anywho, welcome to the fabulous FRI-YAY broadcast of Miss Hope's Reading Hour. So, as you all may have seen in the teaser, today is the first day of 12 days of donations. If you look, no, because sometimes it's hard to figure out which hand we're up here in the corner. There's a logo. It's a little smaller than I want it to be, but it is the logo for an organization here in the city of Philadelphia called Philabundance. Okay, so as you all know, on our 12 days of donations, we will be highlighting organizations that help our communities here in the city of Philadelphia, the state of Pennsylvania, in the United States, and possibly all over the world, that help with food insecurity. Of course, you all know during this time that we are in the pandemic and things have been shut down, many may be experiencing, possibly for the first time, food insecurity. So we want to help here at Miss Hope's Reading Hour in any way that we can. So our first organization that we will be highlighting is Philabundance. Okay. Now, if you give me a moment, I do not know what happened to my banner to show you information about Philabundance. I don't know what happened to my banner. So what I'm going to have to do is I need to put my banner back up because I don't know what happened to it. And I want you all to be able to see the ticker that's telling you what to do for our 12 days of donations. So if you give me a moment, I will put that in there for you. So the ways that you can donate to Philabundance. Just a moment, because this is the most important part of Miss Hope's Reading Hour for the next 12 broadcasts. And I was so excited because I was like, wait a minute. There's actually 12. Because remember, I said I was doing it till Christmas, right? So there is exactly, starting today, 12 broadcasts before Christmas. I was like, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. So I was like, isn't that just so advantageous? All right, so what you can do is you can donate online to philabundance.org/donate. You're going to see it in a moment because this is the most important part. Of Miss Hope's Reading Hour for the next All right. And voila, there it is. There it is. Okay. There it is. Hold up. Wait a minute. Just a moment, friends. Just a moment. So, there it is. 12 days of donations. If you want to donate to Philabundance here in the city of Philadelphia, this is how you can donate online. All you have to do is go to philabundance.org/donate, and it will tell you every way that you can donate. Also, if you want to volunteer, you can find out information about how to volunteer on their website. So let me read you a little bit about Philabundance, okay? So let me tell you about them and how they came to be. All right. So, Philabundance, this is how they got started. In 1984, Philabundance was founded by an idealist named Pamela Rainey Lawler, who saw perfectly good food going to waste and at the same time saw people going hungry. What started out as a small food rescue organization operating out of a Subaru 30 plus years later is an innovative, impactful, and collaborative organization distributing more than 24 million pounds of food a year to those in need. Philabundance is a proud member of Feeding America, a nationwide network of food banks leading the fight against hunger in the United States. That is Philabundance. So, if you would like to donate, and I'm hoping that you would like to donate to Philabundance, because of course during this holiday season, they are giving out a lot of food baskets, a lot of food boxes to families, and there are a lot more families that need help with food insecurity during this time. So I'm hoping that you will want to donate to Philabundance. Every little bit helps. Of course, we know that people are watching their pennies, pinching every dollar around this time. But if you can donate to Philabundance, it will help more people than you know. Okay. Also, if you would like to actually donate food to Philabundance, you can find out how to do that on their website. Okay. So today is our first day of 12 days of donations. I'm excited. Now, what I'm asking you all to do, please, 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 and one more please, share this broadcast. Share it with all of your friends. Guess what? There are people out there who want to hear good books. There are, okay? So they can not only listen to books with their young ones or just listen to books for their own enjoyment and donate to a good cause at the same time. A twofer, okay? I am enjoying these wonderful books and I am donating to a good cause. I call that a twofer, my friends. I call that a twofer. Okay? So, Philabundance is our first organization that will hopefully get a whole lot of donations. I also will be donating. Okay? So, do know I am not asking you to do something that Miss Hope will not do. Okay? I will also be donating to Philabundance. So, with that being said, let's give our disclaimer that we have to give all the time. The wonderful music that you hear and the great books we will read today. Unfortunately, Miss Hope does not own the rights to any of those things, but they are here for your listening and reading enjoyment. Now, we are still honoring Native American Heritage Month. So we have some books that will be honoring that, as well as we have a new chapter book. And I was wondering when I was going to read this book. And I was like, wait a minute, we're doing 12 days of donations. During those 12 days, we will be getting closer and closer to Christmas. This book is perfect. When you see it, I personally think that this one's going to be a little bit of a trip. It's going to be kind of funny. But when you see it, you'll be like, oh, yes, it's perfect. Let's get into the books. All right. Again, we will be reading from this book here. We'll read a couple of selections from 13 Moons on Turtle's Back. So we read about the first 3 moons. Let's read about a couple more. Okay. So this book is by Joseph Bruchac and Jonathan London, illustrated by Thomas Locker. And this is a Paper Star book by Penguin Young Readers Group. Excuse me. The next book we will be reading is The Gift of the Sacred Dog. Gift of the Sacred Dog. This book is by Paul Goebel, and it's another Reading Rainbow selection. And this is an Aladdin Paperbacks book by Simon & Schuster. Now, this is a funny book. This book is called Could Be Worse. This book seems like it's going to be pretty funny too. This book is by James Stevenson, and it is a Mulberry Books book. All right. And also, this is our new chapter book. It is called Who is Stealing the 12 Days of Christmas? The 12 days of Christmas are going missing, friends, and we will find out who did it and why. Okay? You know, Miss Hope likes a good mystery. All right? So this book is by Martha Freeman, and it is a scholastic book. Now, let us get to our first book, 13 Moons on Turtle's Back. So we read about the first 3 moons. Let's read about some more. Oh, the frog moon. You know, you got to bend these new books a little bit so they can open up so you can see the pictures. Frog moon. When the world was young, Wissahickon, the trickster, met with all the animals to decide how many moons would be winter. Moose answered, "There should be as many moons of winter as hairs on my body." Amik, the beaver, said, "There should be as many winter moons as scales on my tail." Then Omakaki, the little frog, said, "There should only be as many moons of snow as toes on my foot." Wissahickon decided that this was right. So it is that winter lasts only 5 moons, and when it ends, the small frogs sing their victory song in this moon with their name. 4th moon of the Cree people. Budding moon. One year, Old Man Winter refused to leave our land, and so our people asked for help from our great friend, Jushika, known to some as the sun. He knocked on the door of Winter's lodge, then entered and sat by winter's cold fire. "Leave here or you will freeze," winter said. But Juskiha breathed and winter grew smaller. Juskiha waved his hand and a white owl flew down to carry winter back to the deep snow of the north. The lodge melted away and the trees turned green with new buds as the birds began to sing. And where the cold fire of winter had been was a circle of white mayflowers. So it happens each spring when the budding moon comes, all the animals wake and we follow them across our wide, beautiful land. The fifth moon of the Huron people. Wow, all these stories about these different moons. They're beautiful stories. Now let us get to our next book, celebrating our Native American brothers and sisters and their heritage. The Gift of the Sacred Dog by Paul Goebel. The people were hungry. They had walked many days looking for the buffalo herds. Each day they hoped to see the buffalo over the next ridge, but they were not to be found in that part of the country. Even the buzzards and crows circled looking for something to eat, and the wolves called out with hunger at night. The people wandered on until they were too tired and hungry to go any farther, and the dogs could no longer be urged to drag their heavy loads. The wise men said that they must dance to bring back their relatives, the buffalo. Every man who had dreamed of the buffalo joined in the dance. The buffalo would surely know the people needed them. Young men went out searching in all directions, but they did not see any buffalo. There was a boy in the camp who was sad to hear his little brothers and sisters crying with hunger. He saw his mother and father eat nothing so that the children could have what little food there was. He told his parents, "I am sad to see everyone suffering. The dogs are hungry too. I'm going up into the hills to ask the Great Spirit to help us. Do not worry about me. I shall return in the morning." He left the circle of teepees and walked toward the hills. He climbed higher and higher. The air was cool and smelled fresh with pine trees. He reached the top of the highest hill as the sun was setting. He raised his arms and spoke, "Great Spirit, my people need your help. We follow the buffalo herds because you gave them to us, but we cannot find them, and we can walk no farther. We are hungry. My little brothers and sisters are crying. Great Spirit, we need your help." As he stood there on the hilltop, great clouds closed across the sky. Wind and hail came with sudden force, and behind them, thunderbirds swooped among the clouds. Lightning darted from their flashing eyes, and thunder rumbled when they flapped their enormous wings. He felt afraid and wondered if the Great Spirit had answered him. The clouds parted. Someone came riding toward the boy on the back of a beautiful animal. There was thunder in its nostrils and lightning in its legs. Its eyes shone like stars, and hair on its neck and tail trailed like clouds. The boy had never seen any animal so magnificent. The rider spoke, "I know your people are in need. They will receive this. He is called Sacred Dog because he can do many things your dogs can do, and also more. He will carry you far and will run faster than the buffalo. He comes from the sky. He is as the wind, gentle, but sometimes frightening. Look after him always." Wow, that is a beautiful animal. The clouds closed and the rider was not there. Suddenly the sky was filled with sacred dogs of all colors, and the boy could never count their number. Their galloping was like the wind, and the drumming of their hoofbeats shook the hilltop on which he stood. They circled round and round, and he did not know if he was standing or falling. He did not remember going to sleep, but he awoke as the sun was rising. He knew it was something wonderful he had seen in the sky. He started down the hill back home again to ask the wise men what it meant. They would be able to tell him. The morning and everything around him was beautiful and good. When the boy had reached the level plain, he heard a sound like faraway thunder coming from the hill behind. Looking back, he saw sacred dogs pouring out of a cave and coming down a ravine toward him. They were of all colors, just as he had seen in the sky, galloping down the slopes, neighing and kicking up their back legs with excitement. The leading ones stopped when they were a short distance away. They stamped their feet and snorted, but their eyes were gentle too, like those of a deer. The boy knew they were what he had been promised on the hilltop. He turned and continued walking toward the camp, and all the sacred dogs followed him. The people were excited and came out of the camp circle when they saw the boy returning with so many strange and beautiful animals. He told them, "These are sacred dogs. They are a gift from the Great Spirit. They will help us to follow the buffalo, and they will carry the hunters into their running herds. Now there will always be enough to eat. We must look after them well, and they will be happy to live with us. Look at all of those beautiful sacred dogs. Horses, we call them. Life was good after that. The people lived as relatives with the sacred dogs, together with the buffalo and all other living things, as the Great Spirit wished them to live. When the people passed the place where they had hunted the buffalo, they would gather up the bleached skulls in a circle and face them toward the sun. Let us thank the spirits of the buffalo who died so that we could eat. The end. What a beautiful and very appropriate story for the beginning of our 12 days of donations. So, in this story, this story is of the Sioux people, the Sioux Indians, Sioux Native Americans. And this is the story of a people who was hungry because they hunt buffalo, but they couldn't go as fast as the herds were running. So the Great Spirit gave them the sacred dog or the horses that would help them to eat. Now, I don't go around calling people dogs, but in light of this book and our 12 days of donations, you could be someone's sacred dog today. You could be the person that could come along and help those who are struggling with food insecurity. So, again, I implore you, I ask you graciously if you would donate to Philabundance. And you can go online again at philabundance.org/donate to find out all the ways you can donate. You can actually donate right there on the website. Okay? So be someone's sacred dog today. Okay? Be that person who could be a blessing to someone else and donate to Philabundance today. And remember, share, and once again, share this broadcast so that people that you know will donate as well. Every little bit can help someone who is not sure about where their next meal is going to come from. Okay? All right, my young ones, you get allowances. You might have some money to go to the store and get a bag of chips, get a soda, get some ice cream. Guess what? You can donate too, my young ones. You and your family can get together and donate together. All right? The holidays are about togetherness. We can all do that together, right? Am I right? Can I hear you say that I'm right? I am right. All right, now to our next book. It could be worse. I have a feeling that this book is going to be kind of silly. I have a feeling. So let us get into this next book. Could be worse. By James Stevenson. Now we're going to find out what is happening and what makes this person say it could be worse. I mean, look at this. It looks like the granddad is being carried off by a really big bird. What is going to happen in this story? Let us find out. Hello, Miss Kate. I do believe that's either you, Miss Kate, or Miss Eileen. Hello, and yes, I did have a good Thanksgiving, and I hope that you did too. as well as all of my other Miss Hope's reading hour friends. All right, could be worse. At Grandpa's house, things were always the same. Grandpa always had the same thing for breakfast. Every day, he read the paper. And he always said the same thing. Could be worse. No matter what. Grandpa, that awful dog ate this couch cushion. Could be worse. I know some people who would be kind of mad about that, okay? I got a splinter in my finger, Grandpa. Could be worse. Okay. Splinters, don't like getting those. My bike has a flat, and my sneakers have a hole, and I lost my kite in a tree, Grandpa. What's he gonna say? One day, Marianne said, "How come Grandpa never says anything interesting?" "I guess it's because nothing interesting happens to him," said Louis. The next morning at breakfast, Grandpa said something different. He said, "Guess what?" Oh, wait a minute now. What is this guess what? Last night, when I was asleep, a large bird pulled me out of bed and took me for a long ride. Wait a minute. What? This story went to the left real fast. Wait a minute. And dropped me in the mountains. What? I heard a noise. It was an abominable snowman with a huge snowball, which he threw at me. What? Okay, that's a huge snowball. Like, that's enough snowball to knock you out, okay? I got stuck inside the snowball, which rolled down the mountain. It finally landed on the desert and began to melt. What in the world is happening? I walked across the desert. Suddenly, I heard footsteps coming nearer and nearer. Who could it be? Walking up behind him in the desert. A moment later, I got squished by a giant something or other. What is that? What is that? Before I could get up, I heard a strange noise. A great blob of marmalade came toward me. It chased me across the desert until what? Until what? Oh my god. Okay. Oh, Grandpa, what is happening? I crashed into something tall. It was sort of like an ostrich, and very cross. Um, that means the ostrich had an attitude. Okay, all right. Oh, it gave me a big kick. I went up into some storm clouds, almost got hit by lightning, fell out of the clouds. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What happened when he fell out of the clouds, friends? And landed in an ocean. I sank down about a mile to the bottom. Okay. I saw an enormous goldfish coming at me. What in the world? All of this in a dream? Or was it? I swam away as fast as I could and hid under a cup that had air in it. When it was safe, I crawled out. I started to walk, but my foot got stuck. Oh my goodness. What did his foot get stuck in? I wonder. Okay. My foot got stuck in the grip of a giant lobster. What in the world, Grandpa? How did you go from could be worse to all of this? I didn't know what to do. But just then, a big squid came along and squirted black ink all over the lobster. I escaped. And what? Okay. Hitched a ride on a sea turtle that was going to the top for a bit of sunshine. I was fortunate to find a piece of toast floating by and rode to shore, where I discovered a newspaper. I quickly folded it into an airplane. This story has gotten crazier than I imagined that it would. Okay? We are reading this for the first time together, friends. And flew across the sea and back home to bed. All of that. Now, what do you think of that? I don't know that I would have anything to say. And it looks like the kids don't know what to say either. I don't know if I would know what to say. Oh, but they did. Could be worse. I don't know what could be worse than that. I don't know. But they figured they'd say something that he would say. Whoa. Never think that people are just boring, okay? Because they may have some interesting things that happen to them, quite like Grandpa and the big bird picking him up, okay? So sometimes, especially with our older family members, you got to give them a chance. Sit and listen to some of their stories, because you may think that they're boring, but they're really not. A lot has gone on in their life, whether it's necessarily true or not. Okay? Could be worse. I like this book. This was good. All right, my friends, we are going to get to our new chapter book. Who is stealing the 12 days of Christmas? We got to find out, friends. We got to find out who's stealing them and why. Before I get to the book, let me remind you again to donate to our 12 days of donations. These donations are not coming to Miss Hope. These donations are going to many people who probably for the first time in their lives have had to deal with food insecurity and needed someone to help them to make sure that they have enough food to eat every day. So that is what I need for you all to do. We have listened already to 3 great stories today. Okay. Now, what I need you to do is share Miss Hope's reading hour with your friends, not just so that they can hear these great stories, these great books, but so that they can donate and help someone else where you're not worried about where your next meal is coming from. There may be someone right on your block and you don't know it. That could be worrying about where their next meal and their family's next meal is coming from. As they say at Phil Abundance and many other organizations who help with food insecurity, it hits every zip code. No matter where you live, there is possibly someone who is wondering, where is my next meal going to come from? How am I going to feed my children? How am I going to feed myself? Older Americans who worry, do I pay for my medicine or do I buy food? So you can be someone's blessing today, their sacred dog, if you will. And you can donate to Phil Abundance that helps so many people around this city to make sure that they have healthy food to eat every day. All right, now, friends, let us get to our next chapter book. Who is stealing the 12 days of Christmas? We got to find out, friends. By Martha Freeman, a scholastic book. I have been waiting to read this. I knew I was probably going to read it closer to Christmas, but I was like, I can't wait to read this because this sounds like it's going to be a trip. Okay. All right. So let's go through the 12 days of Christmas. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. On the third day of Christmas, on the 12th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me 12 lords leaping, 11 ladies dancing, 10 pipers piping, 9 drummers drumming, 8 maids a milking, 7 swans a swimming, 6 geese a laying, 5 golden rings, 4 calling birds, 3 French hens, 2 turtle doves, and a partridge in a pear tree. Chapter 1. A goose was the first to go. My cat was the first to notice. It was Friday morning before winter vacation. I was looking out my window to see if maybe it had snowed overnight. One good thing about Pennsylvania winters, this is in Pennsylvania. I already like this book. Okay. Sometimes you get lucky and get a snow day, no school. But I didn't see a single flake, only blue sky and the Christmas display in the Lee's yard next door. The Lees are 6 geese a laying. On the other side are the Pops, 8 maids a milking. My family is 7 swans a swimming. This might not necessarily make sense, so I will explain. Every December, the people on our street decorate their yards from the carol, The 12 Days of Christmas. At one end, there's the Ryans, Partridge in a Pear Tree. At the other are the Jensens, 12 Lords of Leaping. Really, the partridge is a big rubber ducky painted gold. Glued over the flat ducky beak is a pointy construction paper beak. The pear tree is a dogwood. Then there are the lords. They are flat and jigsawed out of plywood. The 5 golden rings are hula hoops. That's reality. But starting that same Friday night, reality wouldn't matter. That night, almost everybody in the neighborhood would get together at the Jensen's house. Then Professor Jensen would throw a switch to turn on lights and music. Suddenly, the plywood, the paint, the hula hoops, they would all become Christmas. We live in College Springs. It's pretty small. So the 12-day display is a big deal. It's up through New Year's, and practically everybody comes to see it. It's such a tradition that when somebody sells one of the 12-day houses, the decorations go with it. It doesn't even matter if the new people celebrate Christmas. Since there was no snow that morning, I went ahead and pulled on a t-shirt and sweater. Then I saw the t-shirt stripes were in the back and the tag in the front, so I had to start over. I was twisting the sweater over my head for the second time when Luau jumped onto the windowsill. Luau is my cat. The windowsill is where I keep super macho military mice. Keep my super macho military mice. Luau swiped his paw to knock down the mice. Then he swished his tail and blurted a morning meow. I thought he meant greetings, Alex. I don't believe you petted me today. But when I petted him, he didn't purr. Instead, he butted his pink nose against the cold window, and he swished his tail some more. What was he looking at? Luau has checked out all the Christmas displays. His favorites are ours and the Lee's because they have big fat birds. Sometimes Luau curls up in a sunny spot by the window and watches them. I know what he is thinking when he watches. Go on, you tasty birds. Move. The second you do, yee, Thanksgiving. But why was Luau meowing and swishing the windowsill now? I looked out again. This time I saw it. No kidding, said Dad when I told him. The Lees are short a goose? I nodded. And it wrecks the whole song too. I sang, 7 swans a swimming, 5 geese a laying, 5 golden rings. Dad cringed. I guess maybe the grown-ups are tired of that song. Point taken, Alex, he said. But who would want a hollow plastic goose? Are you sure it didn't waddle off somewhere? Maybe it's got a nest. Or maybe it just flew, I said. Same as that Lord. Last year, a blizzard blew the 3rd Lord from the left right out of the Jensen's yard. The next day, Michael Jensen, who was in the 7th grade and the king of the street, snooped around and found him. He had crashed headfirst into some lady's rose bushes. Dad shook his head. That goose is too fat to fly. I'll call the Lees when I get the dishwasher emptied. And I'd better do a beak count on our swans, too. Maybe it's the start of a Christmas crime wave. Oh boy. Dad was making a joke. He and I know all about crime in College Springs. My mom's a police detective. Actually, she's the police detective. There has never been enough crime for the police to hire another one. But the way it turned out, Dad's comment wasn't a joke, it was a prediction. Oh boy. Chapter 2. Every day, Yasmin, comes by at 7:45 to pick me up for school. When the doorbell rang, I was zipping my coat and tugging my mittens. Doing both at the same time was a mistake. One of the mittens got stuck in the zipper. I had to look down to unstick it, and my hat fell over my eyes. Blind, I tried to open the door for Yasmin. But what I grabbed wasn't the doorknob, it was an umbrella handle. I yanked. The umbrella came out of the stand. I fell backwards onto my tailbone. Yasmin pushed the door open and found me on the floor, aiming an umbrella at her. "Don't shoot," she said. "I'm on your side." "Good morning, Yazzie," my dad called from the kitchen. "Good morning, Mr. Parakeet," Yasmin answered. Then she looked down at me. "You're in quite a predicament there, bud." I scowled, stood up, put the umbrella back, removed mitten from zipper, put on coat. I tried to look cool. I tried to look like someone who has been getting dressed by himself for years and years now. Meanwhile, Yasmin sighed and looked at her watch and sighed again. "Okay, ready," I said finally. "Backpack," she said. "Oh, right." I looked around. What had I done with it? "Closet," she said. "Oh, right." I opened the closet door. My backpack was on the floor. Yasmin shook her head. "Late as usual," she said. "We'll have to run for it." And before she even finished her sentence, she had sprinted down the walk. "Bye, Dad." I slammed the door and ran after. Catching her was hopeless. Yasmin is the same age as me, but she's tall, skinny, and fast. Luckily, oh, come on, Paige. I knew she would stop and wait at the corner. It's the same every morning, except I don't necessarily fall on my tailbone every morning. Yasmin's last name is Pop. Her family is 8 Maids a Milkin' next door. She has a little brother, Jeremiah. Even though she gets stuck babysitting him a lot, she says it's good she has him because only children like me are egotistical. I should get mad when she says this kind of stuff, but usually I'm too busy trying to translate. She has this giant vocabulary, which is not her fault. Her father is an English professor at the college. Her mother is a librarian. They are nice, but very strict. Like Yasmin and Jeremiah have to be in bed by 8:30, even on weekends. And they have to make their beds before they go to school. Yasmin can be a royal pain. Like she thinks she is saving my life when she comes by to pick me up. She claims if she doesn't, I will get lost and end up dying in the desert of dehydration, which means thirst. One time, I pointed out that there are no deserts in the middle of Pennsylvania. Out beyond Walmart, there are only soybean fields and cornfields and cows. Beyond that is woods. Of course, then Yasmin has to go and remind me about the time she was sick and stayed home. Walking by myself, I didn't pay attention and turned the wrong way at the light. I walked a long way before I started wondering if the school had moved and nobody told me. Finally, Officer Chrishell's spotted me and took me to school in the patrol car, which was just the tiniest amount of embarrassing. I missed the flag salute and the lunch count, but I never got lost in the desert, I told Yasmin. Did you have a canteen with you? Yasmin said. A compass, matches, a flare to signal low flying rescue planes? No, but you would have died of dehydration, she said, desert or not. Even though she is like this, Yasmin is my best friend who happens to be a girl. What is good about her is that she is brave and smart and strong. Also, like I said, fast. And even though she teases me and bosses me, she likes me too. All right, let me see. I think I'm going to end there. And we will finish up chapter 2 and keep going on our Marvelous Monday broadcast. So, my friends, our friend here, I'm sorry, what's his name again? Let me find his name. Alex. His parents are a police detective. And what does his dad do? I'm sorry. His dad. I don't think it said what his dad does. Nope, it didn't. But his mother is the police detective. And apparently already there's a goose missing in the geese a laying. And his dad kind of predicted that it was a crime spree in College Springs. Okay, so now we have to find out who is stealing the 12 days of Christmas. I think that would be kind of cool. A block, a street, all decked out for Christmas as the 12 days of Christmas. That would be kind of cool. That would be kind of amazing. All right, so we will get back to our new chapter book. Who is stealing the 12 days of Christmas? We got to find out. And I mean, they started off straight away. Something is already missing, okay? It didn't get blown by the wind. There was no snowstorm. Someone is taking the decorations, okay? Well, my friends, I am so glad to be here with you today on our fabulous FRI-YAY, our first of our 12 days of donations. Please make sure that you share this broadcast with your friends. Make sure that you share it so that they can donate to Phil Abundance. You can donate to Phil Abundance online. Find out the other ways to donate to them at philabundance.org/donate. Okay, make sure that you are someone's blessing today, someone's sacred dog that can help them in their time of food insecurity. It can happen to anybody, anyone. As they always say, there is food insecurity, hunger in every zip code. It could be someone on your block. It could be someone in your neighborhood. My young ones, it could be someone in your class that is dealing with food insecurity. So please, oh please, during these 12 days of donations, because on Monday it'll be another organization. But of course, you guys know these videos stay up. So you'll be able to see all of the organizations that you can donate to in these 12 days of donations. With all of that being said, I am so glad to be here with you, hoping that you had a great Thanksgiving with your families on any medium, whether it was Zoom or video chat or in person, and hoping that you have a great, healthy, and happy and safe holiday season. Please make sure you donate to our 12 days of donations. And I will see you next time. Bye for now.